All available units to 122 Conch Street. There appears to be an incident going on. Roger that. On my way.
The police arrived to Mr. Tentacle's house at approximately 3:30 a.m. Aside from the police chatter on the radio, it was unsettlingly silent. Upon entering the living room, the only light they saw was the flickering cigarette Mr. Tentacles was smoking. Shaking, he pointed up to the stairs that led to his bedroom, saying, "It's still alive. It's still alive." Walking up to the stairs, we can already hear something. A weak whimper and incoherent babbling. As we entered the room, we saw what looked like Mr. Squarepants in a fetal position, lying in a pool of blood. There appeared to be handprints and blood everywhere in Mr. Tentacle's room, leading to a window. We assume that's Mr. Squarepants' entry point. After apprehending him, we took him away and began piecing together the events that led to this moment.
After a short investigation, we were able to piece together a crude but more than likely accurate timeline of the events that took place before the incident. The first victim was his snail Gary, which had appeared to have been smashed by television. The next victim was Mr. Patrick Starr, who was violently mutilated inside of his own home. His eyes were scratched out. There appears to be no forced entry, so Mr. Starr must have let Mr. Squarepants in before it happened. Next is Miss Cheeks. She appeared to have lived in a air-like dome, to which SpongeBob had breached that with a rock. It appears that is now submerged in water. Miss Cheeks had drowned in her own home. Then it appears that Mr. Squarepants had arrived to Mr. Tentacles, and this is where the incident happened. Strangely enough, Mr. Tentacles keeps a camera, sort of a journal, if you will. He monitors his sleep, and if anything unusual happens, he posts it on his art blog. He went to go retrieve the camera when we heard an audible gasp and scream. When he ran down with the camera, he gave it to us with instructions to use it for the investigation, but also to burn it. This was the clearest image we could get from the footage. It's been a few hours since the investigation. Mr. Squarepants has been placed into a intense psychiatric facility until we can get a coherent sentence out of him. It appears that the lacerations and deep gash over his right eye was self-inflicted. It appears that there was a psychoactive substance in his system at the time of the incident. I have a few questions about this whole thing. What could possibly turn someone so happy, so innocent, into this monster? What could have driven him to do such horrific acts? But more importantly, why did he do all those horrible things to himself? Was it before, or perhaps it was before encountering Squidward, as sort of him trying to gain control by pain. Something, anything, to get out of the horrific nightmare that he couldn't wake up from.